I will try and be very loud and we'll see if we can't work through our meeting today. We'd like to welcome all of you. We certainly appreciate the facilities that we're in here in Monticello. We have online with us, but we have Jonathan Friedman here with me. My name is Jerry Stevenson, and we're all board members. And then our board chair, Abby, is in. I don't know where she is. She gets all these different backgrounds. We can never tell whether she's in Hawaii.
This is real, Jerry. It's real.
Right.
I'm at the Capitol.
The Joel Ferry is with us. Victoria, I see you're on with us. And anyone else? Great. So anyway, what a pleasure to be here with you and begin this meeting. The inland port process has been a real asset to the state of Utah, and we are thrilled to be part of that. But we do have a quorum, so we welcome those who are in attendance that are here, and we also welcome those who are online. We thank all of you for your attendance and your participation. Again, this meeting is originating in San Juan County as we consider approval of an inland port area in the southeast corner of the state of Utah. The meeting is, let me go through this. There's some points here. We need the kind of rules of the meeting we probably should go through. For the meeting record, we note that the following board members, I mentioned that our meeting agenda has been provided to board members and are available to the public online. We've got a lot of business to conduct, so we're going to get right to it. The period for public comment will begin at approximately 2:15. And to speak during the comment, please fill out a comment card and hand it in to Diana Gardner. Diana, raise your hand back here. And then all public comments will be no more than 2 minutes in length. Because the time for public comment is limited, please understand that we may not get to everyone. And as always, we'll invite you to submit your comments in writing to the Inland Port Authority .utah.gov. And with that, we'll start by looking for the approval of the minutes. So, again, we'll look for an approval of the minutes of March 24th, 2025.
So moved.
I have a motion on the approval of the minutes. Do I have a second?
Abby, I think you have seconded. You're muted, Abby.
I will second that.
And I have a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 And aye. So that is those in attendance. I will rule that motion passes. Let's go on to let's go on to our executive director, Mr. Ben Hart's going to provide us with an executive director's report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to all those who are joining us here in person in Monticello and also those who are joining us online. It is truly a pleasure to be here in this corner of the state. This, for those who were not able to make the journey, is really one of the most beautiful parts of the state of Utah. And I know for a lot of us at the Inland Port, it's near and dear to our hearts as well. There's been a lot of good discussion and activity. In San Juan County, whether they know it, you guys know it here or not, you guys probably get more attention than just about any other rural county that's out there, because there's a lot of really cool things that are happening in this part of the state. So kudos to your amazing work. We're excited for the opportunity to help become part of this fabric of this community, and to help wherever we can, and to lift and ultimately help you achieve your economic goals, as we'll talk about a little bit. I will say this is a place near and dear to my heart. My son served a mission for the church here in the Four Corners area. He served down in Denny-Hotso across the border, but came up to this area quite a bit. So I was leaving the house. He had one of his ties. He said, "Dad, you are going to wear this tie down to San Juan, whether you want to or not." So it's a place near and dear to our hearts. We came to Monticello quite often with Lieutenant Governor, now Governor Cox, as we toured the state in different occasions. And this was a place that we've always said, man, there's so many amazing things happening here. How do we join hands and ultimately help them achieve where they want to get economically? And so For us, this is kind of a banner day and a day that we hope is long in the making, and also hopefully a day that we'll look back upon in generations and say, this is the day that something really cool here started in San Juan County. So more to come on that topic, but let me first just jump through my items. Madam Chair and Mr. Chair, I feel like I may be jumping the gun a little bit for anything that you had wanted to say, but I do want to note one of our board members is leaving the service of his current position. Ryan Starks will be leaving the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity on Friday. Will be his last day. Talking with him, it sounds like, I'm not sure, but it sounds like this will be his last board meeting. I think we'll get him a little bit later on in the meeting. But we just want to say thank you to him for his service and all that he's done. Is he's been working on this board. He's currently serving as the vice chair, so the future board meeting will have to find a new vice chair, Madam Chair. But we just wanted to say thank you to him for his amazing service. As his departure has come, we recognize that we probably need to take a fresh look at our incentive subcommittee. So just as a reminder, that is a subcommittee to this board, and it convenes whenever we have a business that we're working with and we would like to get them into one of our project areas. We take them through the incentives process. At our next meeting, we'll be hearing a little bit of a revised view of that incentives committee within the tax differential policy that Amy Brown Coffin will be bringing forward to the board. But to the board, staff feels like it's probably time to take a fresh look at that subcommittee. Talking with our chair, she has asked Jeff Moss to join that committee, so Jeff has accepted. So he will become one of the newest member of that committee. We would, however, for future applications, like to expand that beyond just incentives and bring any tax differential bills, whether that's PID backed financing or anything like that, also through the incentives committee. So we will most likely be bringing to you an altered version of how that process will work probably at our next meeting. We just want to give you a heads up and the public a heads up that we'll be looking to make some changes there. And also as a result of Ryan's leaving. I'm going to leave item C on the agenda for last, but I do want to give just a couple of general updates. One, for the public awareness, we will have more to come on this, but for those who have been paying attention to some of the port happenings, we purchased a really large landfill. That's exciting. We're excited to help that become something that we feel like will ultimately really become a benefit to the state of Utah. We have not made a lot of public statements except to notify the public that we have purchased it. This is the landfill at approximately 7200 West and I-80 in Salt Lake City, just near the Salt Lake City International Airport. We will have some exciting things that are coming down the pipe, but before we get to that, we do want to notify the public we are in the next couple of weeks going to see the wet remediation, meaning we're going to actually see this dirt and trash that is affected in this area that will start to be remediated. And so one of the promises we made when we purchased this, and I know not everyone will appreciate this, but I will say from our side of the table, we appreciate it. To have purchased a landfill site that needs remediation and be able to start remediation within a couple of months is lightning quick. There's environmental processes like we don't even want to get into here. But the fact that we've been able to turn that around that quickly, I think speaks volumes about the port's commitment to making sure that does get cleaned up. So we just want to keep the public aware you are going to start seeing construction and different things happening on that site. We will be back to the public with more information in the future, but our immediate concern is making sure that that site gets cleaned up ASAP. So you will start seeing dirt turning. We just want to make the board aware of that as well. We will have future updates on landfill as they become available. So let me also just say, after today's project area update or creation, we have always tried to keep the public aware of other opportunities. We have identified one other opportunity in the western side of Utah County. We'll be working on a potential project area there. That is the last project area that we are anticipating for this year. That's not to say that something couldn't pop up and we would create a new project area. We're always willing when the time and occasion permits, but that's all we're planning. So I know there have been others who've said, are you going to do one here or are you going to do one here? With questions about different things that are happening potentially all over the state. We just want to make the public aware. The only other one we're looking at for this year is in Utah County. And as others do come online, we will be forward with the public and let you know as some of those opportunities come up. But for us, it's all focused on San Juan County. Also, I want to go to the West Weaver project area, Stephanie, in 1 second, and then to the quarterly budget update, Ariane. But let me just say, we've been Abby, the Madam Chair and other board members and I have had some conversations about the port and its actual portness over the last several months, to say that candidly. I know there are those who have said, why do you call yourselves a port still? Are you a port? Are you ever going to build a port? Well, we're not planning to in San Juan County, lest we keep everyone's nerves calmed here. But we have had these conversations over the last several months. Existentially, as we realize that we are a port, we want to fill that lane as best we can. I told my team this on numerous occasions, but when I came to this organization 2.5 years ago, I felt like the most important thing we could do was at the economic activity related to the port's capabilities. And we've been very active. We'll have our 13th project area created today. Most of those are economic-based project areas. As we've been getting more and more into this, we have realized just how important the logistics side of our organization is. Whether that's tariffs that are happening at the national and international level, whether it's dependency on other coastal ports, we've realized more and more that if Utah does not stake its own logistics independence claim, then we're going to fall behind and we're going to be dependent on people and actors that, quite frankly, we don't want to be dependent on. So we want to more and more ensure that we are staying very active in the making Utah and giving every advantage we can to the logistics network and infrastructure that exists here in the state of Utah. And even on today's agenda, you're going to see us pushing out more aggressively in some of these areas that are directly tied to the logistics organization of the port. Now, we're not creating a port today. We're certainly not announcing one, but we are not foreclosing on the fact that at some point we may actually build a port. We are sensitive to the notion that anything and any role our organization can play, we want to play. Here and now, we feel like the most important thing that we can be doing is working with and through our partners. And so even though we may not be, announcing and building a port today, we are announcing some really important infrastructure developments for the state of Utah, some things that we're really excited about as we help make progress. As the public will recall, we did a logistics strategy last year that this board adopted in December. We want to continue to build on the principles that are in that study, namely that we are building stronger relationships with strategic coastal ports, that we're developing air cargo as a main capability, an important capability for the state, and also that we're building new facilities across the state of Utah so that other communities have an opportunity to load rail wherever they need to. As we get into, and I can see this coming down on the horizon now, we will have to look at how we make sure that we stay very aggressive on the logistics infrastructure front. And if we ever need to play a more aggressive role, we will. Currently, we're playing a role that is similar to a landlord in some cases and a financier. That's not so different from the role that a lot of ports play across the country, quite frankly. That's not so different from even some of our main coastal ports. And so I want to clarify that because I get that question a lot, but I think there's going to be greater clarity in things that we'll be talking about in the near future that will help provide better logistics statewide. And what that means is we want better service and cheaper costs for our manufacturers here in the state of Utah. And we think that's absolutely the direction we're going. We hope a byproduct of that is we all get our Amazon packages more quickly or whoever we order from. But at the same time, there's important considerations for our state's independence in terms of logistics and economics as we build out our infrastructure network. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and transition, and we are going to have Stephanie Pack give us an update on the West Weaver project area. And then, Mr. Chair, if it's okay, we'll then hear from Ariane Gibson with a quarterly budget update for the board.
Great. Okay. So Stephanie.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Chair. I'm going to share my screen. It has been a year now since we've created the West Weber project area. As you may recall, the West Weber project area encompasses about 9,000 acres of privately owned and industrially zoned land in Weber County, in unincorporated Weber County. There is significant rail infrastructure out this way, and we're really thrilled with the partnership that we've established with the county as we've kicked this project area off. The county back in 2022 created their general plan for this region. And our partnership really leverages that general plan as our guiding document in how we want to see this area developed. In conjunction with that general plan that was meticulously created through the public process with the county, we are also leveraging some really strategic initiatives that we've established in the creation of the project area, the least of which not being our wetland strategy that we tailor-made for this area specifically. We're really excited about some of the progress we've made in operationalizing that strategy and executing on that strategy as we build out this project. So I wanted to provide just a couple of updates. The biggest update is the development agreement that we've created with the Promontory Commerce Center. That'll be that furthest east development in our project area and the development that will be coming online in the shortest timeline. We have worked really closely with Black Pine and the county to create a partnership that is really going to kick off in a significant way the regional infrastructure that this area needs. We've also been working really closely with the county on the development of a regional energy hub. The county recognizes that, they are in a significant energy deficit in that region and want to be part of the solution. And through economic development, they are really working diligently on facilitating not just the development of energy deployment, but also create a incubator for emerging technologies when it comes to energy generation. And so really excited about some of the innovative technologies we've already identified and hope to see some progress to have this Western Weber region be a place where energy gets deployed. When it comes to corporate recruitment, we've had over 30 recruitment projects open this last 12 months. We've had 8 site visits, very active area for site visits in this region. There's a lot of activity and a lot of interest in this significant industrial development. We are eager to start closing some of these deals, and it really depends on the deployment of some of these infrastructure upgrades and getting them started. And with the partnerships that we've created in the last 12 months, I think we'll be ready to get started. So with that, just wanted to leave any time for questions.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much. I've been well acquainted with this area for a long while. I don't live too far from it. And I think you are definitely on a great track. And I think the port is in a process or in a position to help immensely with what we're doing. And looks like a great partnership. So thank you very much. Thanks for your efforts.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, you've got
Area.
Marianne.
So I just wanted to share, the expense report for period 8, which is through February of 2025. You'll notice that overall it's at 27.9%. Kind of the section of the inland port development activities and fees and transfers, a lot of those come into play as we receive the property tax allocation, which we just received here in April. So you don't see a lot of activity in those sections. we'll have that here as we move into later in the year. But if you want to focus on the total operating expenses, if we're looking at 8 periods out of our 12, that's about 67%. You can see we're at 54.66% overall. We have a couple areas that were just a little bit above that, travel and personnel, and those are some areas that we are aware of, and we will be coming back with an adjustment to the budget as we come here in June to make our amendment, and then also to create the budget for next year. But overall, financials are looking good. And then in your packet, you'll also see a summary of payments by vendor, and that highlights kind of our top payments. Well, all the payments to vendors over the last fiscal year, and they're accumulated there. We have, a few that you can see in there, like the Department of Natural Resources. I think I highlighted this before, but that was the land grant that we had given out. And then you'll see a $20 million expense to First American Title Insurance. That was our purchase of the landfill in the Northwest Quadrant. And then kind of our next higher expenses are related to Stadler. We had a $1.9 million investment in the test track out there. And then the other couple of areas are related to the land leases we have in the Northwest Quadrant.
Is that DNR? Or is that the
DNR, it's GB 1100 South and SNL are those two leases.
Okay.
So with that, are there any questions?
Any questions?
I don't have any
Hey.
questions.
Anyone online have any questions on the finance? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dan, anything else?
No, that concludes our report. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. We'll move on then to the next item on the agenda. I believe we have a report. Amy Brown Coffin is going to give us our policy updates and changes. And she will, as part of that report, wait a minute here, there we go. Also, Amy's our Chief Risk and Compliance Officer, and then Ariane Gibson, Deputy Director, Financial Officer, will talk us through these policies. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna have Ariane talk to the first two policies, the personnel policy and the segregation of duties, and then changes that are being proposed.
Yes, so in your packet, you'll see BP 11 is the personnel policy. This one is being updated mostly due to our separation from the state of Utah and becoming on our own payroll system and having our own processes there. So we found our policies to be absent related to retirement and health insurance. And so those are the major updates you're going to see in those sections. Another update related to that is if you can remember a few months ago, we brought a resolution to have employees vote on whether or not they wanted to participate in Social Security. That vote came back on March 20th, and majority of employees voted to no longer participate in Social Security as an organization. And so within that retirement policy, we've actually outlined a matching policy to provide that Social Security to employees through a retirement account. So those are the biggest updates there. And then on BP 12, the segregation of duties. This one is also in alignment with our changeover from the state and into our own accounting system. So we've gone through that and made sure that they're updated and in alignment with the practices that we're doing, and also that they're in alignment with best practices. We added a section related to journal entries and how we want to ensure the segregation of duties there. So yeah, those are my updates on policies.
Thank you, Deputy Director Gibson. I'll be speaking.
Does any member of the board, they have any questions you'd like to ask of Ariane? Okay. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm going to be speaking to the other three policies on the agenda. Just to set the framework, we have committed to annually reviewing any of our board policies. And so as they come up for review, we like to bring them forward, even if there's no changes. And both the board governance policy and our code of conduct are up for review. We do not have any proposed changes at this time, but just to speak to the importance of this, the board governance really talks about the roles and responsibilities of our board members, specifically with board chair, board secretary, and vice chair, as well as the compliance to training that the board is required to do, and just other things to making sure that we're following open and public meetings and in concert with that policy. We'll take this back next month as well, but again, we aren't seeking board approval for any changes. Same thing with the code of conduct, which really is the first and foremost policy of how everything functions within our organization. We've had changes over time as we presented this to the board in years past, but we feel very confident in where it is at this point in time and how we handle conflicts of interest, reporting concerns, dealing with just the overall hierarchy of our values, our mission, and how we adhere to just strong books and record keeping, and the protection of property and information and environment as part of our overall code of conduct. So again, at this point in time, it's up for review, but we're not proposing any changes. I'll pause here just on those two and see if there's any questions from the board.
Any questions, board? Seeing none.
Our last policy that is up for review is our public infrastructure district. And as Executive Director Hart spoke earlier about some of the enhancements that we want to make around these different streams of how we handle different workflows from PIDs as well as tax differential. We've added a few enhancements, but we plan on doing some more as we take it to the next board meeting for approval. Some of those things are around just making sure that all of these PIDs have a strong procurement policy, that we'd like to see that as part of the creation of them. In addition, we want to make sure that we have enough time as these applications come forward for us to do internal reviews before they're presented to the board. So we have asked for at least a 30-day minimum requirement for any PID applications, and what that is elaborated here within the document itself. You'll notice we brought up project area and tax differential policy last board meeting, and we wanted to take some additional time just to enhance that further. We want to be able to have, for anything like we do with incentives and like we do with our AIB loans, have a thorough process from application, having that internally vetted, having appropriate committees, whether it's our loan approval committee or our tax differential committee, our incentives committee, have the appropriate time to vet that. And so we'll see further enhancements coming through with that and add a lot of clarity around timelines and what any applicant may expect through any of those work streams. So I'll pause here. Are there any questions that I can answer at this time?
Okay, again, questions, board members? None?
Thank you.
That's very well explained, thank you.
Thank you.
Apparently really well explained.
The board is always welcome to reach out to me if you do have feedback in between these board meetings and enhancements that you'd like to see. And then we will be seeking action on the approval of the segregations of duty policy later in our agenda. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Well, let's move on then. Next will be the presentation on the creation of the BZI Innovation Public Infrastructure District. And that will be, is Danny online? That will be Mr. Danny Stewart, Associate Vice President of Regional Project Area Development. So Danny, the time is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Just sharing my screen. Hopefully you're able to see that. The item I'm bringing before you today is a request by BZI, the developer of the BZI Innovation Park, that the Utah Inland Port Authority sponsor a public infrastructure district in the Iron Springs Inland Port Project area in Iron County. This is the first presentation of this item, so there will be no action taken today. And also for your information, Drake Howell of BZI Innovation Park is with us remotely in case of any questions at the end of this presentation. Since the creation of the Iron Springs project area in April of 2023, BZI has been actively working on their 820-acre rail served business park in Iron County. They have completed the first portion of the rail sink transloading facility. They've processed more than 500 rail cars. And they've also been working with Iron County on the planning and initial development of phase 1 of their BZI Innovation Park. Within the past couple of weeks, the first main roads into the park were paved. So it's exciting to see some amazing progress here. BZI Innovation Park LLC is requesting today that the Inland Port Authority approve the creation of a public infrastructure district. This PID will cover about 315 acres within the 820 acre BZI Innovation Park. Developer is also asking us to approve the boundaries of the entire BZI Innovation Park as an annexation area so that land can easily be added to the district later. And this district will help pay for the needed public infrastructure that will make this innovation park more shovel ready, bringing economic benefits to Iron County throughout the region of southern Utah and to the state. The area on this map represents the boundaries of the BZI Innovation Park. The area shown in white is the 315 acre phase 1 of development and the area to be considered for the creation of the public infrastructure district. The grayed area is the remainder of the BZI Innovation Park, which is requested to be the annexation area associated with this PID. The annexation area will allow the PID board to approve future changes to the district boundaries without needing further approval from the Inland Port Authority. What we're looking at doing with this PID is the ability to finance nearly $91 million in development, with the developer covering any other extra costs associated with this. We're looking at wastewater, water, storm drains, roads, natural gas, electricity, fiber optics, additional railway connections, all of those things that will make this business park more shovel ready for business recruitment into the park. The proposed funding mechanisms for this PID primarily will be a property tax mill levy up to 0.01 per dollar of taxable value, and the issuance of bonds repaid through this mill levy and potential uses of special assessments. Funds raised will be used for the public infrastructure that I've mentioned, and also for costs of issuing the bonds. Developer is not requesting the use of property tax differential for financing tool for this bond. The timeline, the developer hopefully would like to have this approved so that they can begin this process June 1st of this year, which we'd be hearing it today, and then again for a second review in our May meeting, so that hopefully this can take off on June 1st for the issuance of bonds. Governance of the PID would be through a 5-member board of trustees made up of officers or agents of the BZI Innovation Park LLC. Because there is no use of tax differential to help fund this, we're not looking at a member of the Inland Port Authority to be a member of this governing board. This is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Are there any questions from the board about this request?
Danny, just maybe a really quick comment. You know, I've had opportunity to go out and visit this area, and we've certainly, I think this was one of the first areas we put together, and anyway, it just looks tremendous, and it's been tremendously successful. What's going on there? I would just think if you said they unloaded 500 rail cars, that probably has taken somewhere over 1,500 trucks off the road.
Certainly.
And at least getting into that area. Hopefully they're creating products we'll have to leave, but But that, it's just a great central area for good things to happen, and it's, I don't think a lot of people realize the rail connection that was already there, and this is just a matter of being able to get those, cars off the main lines, so. Anyway, this is, very proud of what's been done there so far, I'm really pleased, it was kind of one we've been on since the very beginning almost. So, thank you, any other questions?
Quick question. So I know that Utah Iron is in the area. Are they, and they move so much by rail. In fact, they're one of Union Pacific's largest customers in the country. Yeah, is there, and I also realize that they've recently closed operations. We're hoping to help them in that regard, restart. Are they incorporated in the current zone or potential expansion?
No, they're not at this point. They are, they'd been operating for several years before the creation of the project area. They actually set up their own short line railroad and worked directly with Union Pacific to move full unit trains of that iron ore when they are shipping. Sadly, that is paused now, but we anticipate that that will resume as soon as the dust kind of settles financially.
Yeah. Okay, so none of their ore moves through this project area.
Correct. Yeah, it's located farther west from this and closer to the main line at Lund.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Man, do you have anything that we comment? Thank you. Danny, anything else?
Not on this item. Be nice if we could just meet the schedule and help the developer get this PID established so that they can get moving forward 1st of June as requested.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate your time and your professional discourse to us. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Okay, let's move on to the next 3 items on the agenda. We've got Ariane, I believe these are yours as our Chief Financial Officer, and would you please give us the information on these things?
Yes, so the resolution 2025-23 is authorizing the Public Treasures Investment Fund users. So we are adding myself and Ben Hart to this so that we can be able to add and deactivate users within the Public Treasures Investment Fund login. This was brought to the board last year, but with changeover, it would be nice to have all of us on there because they do require 2 individuals to add a new person to their systems. So that's the first resolution. Any questions on that?
Seems like just a great housekeeping.
Yes. Okay, and then the 2025-24 is for the Burke Industrial Regional PID Interlocal Tax Sharing Agreement. This PID was authorized back in 2024. I think that's right. And we've been working to get that PID up and going and able to issue some bonds to bring to Spanish Fork the infrastructure needed in that Burke project area. So this resolution is outlining a 92.5% share of the tax differential. That will allow enough for sufficient issuance for the bonds for them to be able to take to market and get this kind of first set of infrastructure that they need, while also retaining some of the differential at the Port Authority to allow for potential incentives or administrative costs of the organization. So any questions on this resolution?
I have none. None. Anyone online have any questions? Let's go to the next item.
Okay, so the 2025-25 resolution is for the Inland Port Authority to amend our office lease at the World Trade Center. Right now, we lease about half of the 6th floor, and with our growing staffing, we want to expand into the second half. So we've been working with an architect to kind of design that out and, have got some cost estimates. And, so we're asking in this that we have the authorization to enter into that lease, for the additional office space, to facilitate that growth of our staff. And then also, to cover the costs for the, construction that needs to be done. That second half of the floor is not built out, so we'll need to have some renovations done to it. And then, we will receive some T&I to cover some of these costs, but we anticipate it hopefully coming in well under the 900,000 that we're asking for. But that should help us to get that built out and, procure the furniture that we need for that half of the office.
Now, I'm gonna ask you a question, maybe, I don't want. I think you're going to, or will we just sublease to the other authority then, to the?
Yes.
Fairmont?
Yes, so we have, Ben Bias with the Fair Park has been officing with us, and as we build this out, we will, have a sublease with that organization for, their share of the space and then some of the shared space as well.
Thank you. I'd ask Mr. Hart if he wanted to share the reasoning I sent the other day, when I think this is a great idea, and he said he did not.
I think you said that better than I could.
This really makes a lot of sense. There will be some combination of land use authorities that we have in the state of Utah into the same space, and I think they will have opportunity to feed off of each other, feed good ideas back and forth from each other. So, a great place for us to be. So, any other comments? Anyone have any questions they'd like to ask our financial officer? If not, we will move to the next item on the agenda. We'll move to let's see, number 10? Nine, excuse me. The resolution 25-26, a property sublease, Mr. Hart.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And the intro I'll give to this is actually probably relevant for number 10 as well. So I'll just mention this, but in two cases, and I'll let Sebastian and Nate and Brian cover the next topic, but in two cases, we've come to a point in negotiations on some specific infrastructure projects. And we're ready now to bring these to the board to receive your final approval necessary to finish negotiations. So I want to stress that probably in both cases, this is not the finalization. It's just giving us as staff the final opportunity to work and complete the documents necessary, hopefully to get these two deals across the finish line. I won't speak to 10, but I will speak to 9. And I'll just say, 9 is something we've been working on. Item number 9 is something we've been working on for some time. This is related to the property at 5 South and 5100 West, which is just off the 5600 West interchange in Salt Lake City on I-80. And we have been trying to get this space leased for a couple of different years now, or a couple of years now. We do have one tenant that has already agreed, and we finalized the lease with them. But we have the opportunity to help facilitate something that is really unique, and we hope that will be a significant benefit to the community. Now, probably in both cases, I would say in both for item number 9 and 10, we will have more details to come. As these deals are finalized, we will have more details to come. As always is the case when we're talking about real estate negotiations, there is a certain level of discretion that's needed. But we are now ready on 5 South. So let me just speak further to this. We realize that Patriot Rail is near our location at 5 South. We have been working with them for some time and would like to continue to work with them in an effort to help utilize a federal grant that will have a significant amount of good in terms of its ability to deconflict Poplar Grove neighborhood of the Northwest Quadrant in Salt Lake City. And so, Victoria, after we get this one done, we're going to start working on truck parking because I know that is a top priority for you. But for the opportunity that's now in front of us, staff has negotiated a deal with Patriot that we feel like will allow them not only the opportunity to utilize the grant and help deconflict Poplar Grove, but will also help to bring some significant rail volume to the northwest quadrant. To get this deal done, and this is why we're bringing this to the board has previously adopted a resolution authorizing the staff to finalize an agreement. The reason we're bringing this back to the board is because we do believe this will be a below market lease. And in full disclosure, we feel like if we're going to do something that is potentially below market, we need to disclose that to the public. And also there are some costs that are related to the improvement of the property, namely some rail infrastructure that may be needed. So resolution 2025-26 will authorize staff to finalize this agreement, work with this potential tenant to get this deal done, and hopefully provide some really good impact and benefit to the community.
Having been involved in this space for a long time with this type of thing, you know, sometimes your benefits come not in your direct lease. They come in some of the other things that come, and this seems like it makes a lot of sense. We know we've got a tremendous problem on the west side of Salt Lake with the rail traffic. This helps. And we're also, you know, the inland port process west of Salt Lake is a partnership between the state of Utah, inland port, and Salt Lake City. So I believe this is, even though it's a below rate lease, that it has a lot of benefits, and the benefits far outweigh the costs. Absolutely. Okay, anything else on that one? Okay, let's go on. I mean, you're next up on you're on the next one also.
I think, Sebastian, would you like to go ahead? Sebastian, Nate, and the great Brian Rupert, who is with us from Delta Airlines.
Thank you, Executive Director Hart. Can everybody see my screen? Please confirm. Can anybody hear me?
Sebastian.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'd like to take a quick dive into Utah's exciting future in air cargo and why this matters to each of us. When we think about air cargo, we're talking about more than just moving packages. We're talking about creating jobs, attracting high-value industries, and keeping Utah's economy vibrant. Think aerospace, medical devices, pharmaceuticals. These are the industries that pay well and depend heavily on efficient logistics. Air cargo gives Utah businesses direct access to critical markets and its customers. Right now, about 92% of the goods manufactured in Utah are exported through adjacent ports in other states like Los Angeles. This means that we're losing out on economic benefits that could stay right here in our communities. To change this, we've surrounded our mission around our three pillars: capacity, infrastructure, and goods. To speak a little bit about how we get there, I'd like to turn the time over to Nate from Salt Lake International. And Nate, if you're there, and if you're able to share your screen, go ahead and take over.
Great. Thank you, Sebastian. Hi, everyone. Nate Levin from the Salt Lake City International Airport. Appreciate, first and foremost, our partnership with the Utah Inland Port Authority, and of course, our longtime partners with Delta Airlines. And we're excited about potential opportunities for them to expand their cargo footprint. For the last better part of the decade, we've been focused on developing the new terminal and concourses, and Delta's been a huge part of that. And now, as that project is nearing completion, we're looking at other opportunities to expand that partnership and also to turn Salt Lake City into a global cargo gateway. We see the opportunity and appreciate the partnership. I just wanted to share my screen to Sebastian. I think you might need to take yours off first before I can share mine.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Yep, that works. To just kind of give you an aerial view to give some perspective where we're talking about a expansion for Delta Air Cargo and where that is in relation to the terminal. So we've got the terminal building here, Concourse A, and then, oh, yes.
Nate, we can't see it. At least I can't. I just see your smiling face.
Oh, okay. I thought I had shared it. How's that? Is that better?
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you for chiming in, Brian. So just zooming in here. This is the terminal, of course, Concourse A, Concourse B, and then just to the southeast of the terminal building is Delta's current cargo facility that I'm circling here. Can you see my cursor going around the facility? Okay, thank you. And Delta is also using this facility for maintenance, repair for their ground service equipment. And for us, we have planned on expanding this taxiway that's immediately adjacent to the Delta Cargo building. Right now, you can see how it kind of gets cut off as we go towards the south because the Delta Cargo building is protruding out into that space. There is a long-term plan for us to phase out Delta's cargo facility over time so that we can expand this taxiway, which would allow for free flow traffic of aircraft on both sides, large aircraft, I should say, wide body aircraft. That fly to long distances from Salt Lake International. Right now, they can only use this side of the taxiway. By expanding this side here, that will allow for free flow on both sides. This was a project that we were planning on in the next 7-8 years with our capital improvement projects. But the opportunity that the port has allowed is for Delta to expedite moving out of that facility to a newer, better facility just to the south. This is the former U.S. Post Office facility. It's larger than the current facility that Delta Cargo is in. It's newer, and by relocating them there, that expedites our ability to expand this taxiway. And not only that, but eventually this entire footprint will be the facility will be demolished, and this footprint will be paved over for remain overnight parking or aircraft parking, which we need at the facility, and Delta would benefit from directly. So, just wanted to provide some visuals here so you can see what we're talking about. This, Delta or this relocation of Delta Cargo helps us as an airport. Of course, it helps them as well to be an expanded facility. I don't want to steal all of Brian's thunder, but we support this. We're grateful for the partnership. Sebastian, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Nate. If you want to.
Yes.
Stop sharing. And if you can confirm you see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. The cost of doing nothing is incredibly high. Right now, Utah's economy is leading the country, and like anything that shines is a true beacon. We have the ability right now to attract jobs, industries, and enrich our significant economic growth. If we delay, the secret's out. Other states understand what we're doing. The advantage we have is we have the manufacturing, we have the industries that have been developed here over the last 30 years. They need the infrastructure to go ahead and continue the support of inbound and outbound international logistics. We don't want to miss out on these opportunities. And one of the ways that we're segueing into the next slide is our first major step is with one of our strongest partners here in the state, that's Delta Cargo. And Brian, I'll turn the time over to you. If you can talk a little bit about what this means for Delta Cargo and the Salt Lake community.
You bet, Sebastian. All right. Thank you for having me today to speak to the board on behalf of Delta. We and my 5,000 plus Utah-based colleagues are really excited to be partnering with the Inland Port and Salt Lake City on this development. I think everybody's probably aware Delta's got really deep roots in Utah. This $18 million project to expand our air cargo capabilities are just another investment for Delta in the state. It's coming on the coattails of a $40 million pilot training facility that opened last year. And of course, Delta is the anchor tenant in the multi-billion-dollar terminal investment in Salt Lake that wraps up next year. And we're proud to reinforce that commitment. We're starting service, first ever direct service between Salt Lake and Seoul, South Korea, 43 days from now on June 12th. So this expanded and updated cargo facility will allow our team to support those growing international ties, strengthen Delta's domestic cargo network, and build on the Inland Port's other regional investments. Compared to our current building, this project will provide 30% more operating space, have twice the number of truck docks. It will really meaningfully improve the product throughput and operational efficiency, be very convenient to the flight line, and just off the I-80 corridor to make sure we keep the goods moving. Most crucially, this project builds a 3,000 square foot drive-through cooler, which increases capabilities to stage high-value perishable commodities like flowers, seafood, and pharmaceuticals. These products are really something only aviation can deliver to assure freshness and high quality for consumers in the state of Utah and beyond. Uh, I want to thank Sebastian and Ben on the ports team, who've been great partners to find a way for this development to work for both the state and for Delta. They made sure it was a question of if, made sure it was not a question of if, but when. And of course, I want to thank the longstanding partners at Salt Lake City. So Nate, Shane Andreessen, and Bill Wyatt, who they were the matchmakers for this deal. They had the vision to turn a grain of an idea into a win-win-win for all three organizations. So we're pretty excited. Thanks again, the board and the state of Utah. Delta really looks forward to executing on the development agreement and moving employees into our new home in 2027. With this new facility, we'll be empowered to grow air cargo service into the Salt Lake Basin and greater Utah for decades to come. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. That was a great overview. And ultimately, just to piggyback up what Brian's saying, this project isn't just great for Utah, it's great for the entire West region of the United States. Our state will become a key logistics anchor. It's going to help neighboring states attract other businesses that depend on fast, reliable air cargo services. We have access to 80 million people within a 15-hour drive. This interconnected network that boosts our economic resilience of the entire West. The future just doesn't happen by chance. We're building it step by step. And the great support that we're receiving from the board and the state of Utah, Salt Lake International, Delta Air Cargo, we're taking significant strides forward. Thank you for the time, and let's keep moving forward.
Thank you very much. You know, I don't believe this was even a thought when we first started putting the inland port process together in 2017. If it was kind of on the back burner. It's moved forward certainly very quickly the last couple of years, and what a great team and what a great benefit for the area. Tell me again the number of planes that are leaving Salt Lake, how loaded they are with cargo.
That's what we're trying to correct, Jerry. They're mostly empty, so we're going to fix that. We're going to make that pivot and fill them up with all the freight that's manufactured right here in our state.
Yeah,
Go ahead, please.
That's one thing that I find so significant about this initiative is that most people don't know that I think the percentage is like 92% of our air cargo that we produce in Utah actually gets trucked to Los Angeles, Chicago, Denver. So just consider the truck congestion, the road congestion that this will reduce. It's still getting air shipped around the world, around the country, and around the world. So I love and appreciate the work that's been done on this by the port, by the airport, Salt Lake City, all those involved. I'm grateful. It increases our capacity to grow industry and our exports. It increased this move with Delta, and again, thank you to the Delta representative that's with us. Their move is strategic in many ways. Not only does it allow Delta freight and passenger expansion opportunities, but it also, as was mentioned, allows larger aircrafts to come into our airport and opens up the possibilities for future nonstop or additional nonstop flights connecting us further around the world. So that we're not only the crossroads of the West, but the crossroads of the world.
Mr. Chair, if I might just add as well.
Go ahead, please.
I've said this before, but we've worked with a lot of companies here in the state of Utah to help bring them and help them expand their services. Brian is the best of the best. I've worked with a lot of real estate people over the years. Just a huge thank you to him, a huge thank you to Delta.
We so appreciate our partnership with Nate and Shane as well, just a huge call out for them also. I'm surprised, when people want to get something done, just how quickly they can get things done, and, this is the right time, right situation, so a huge thank you to Brian and Delta. We're excited for the future.
Well, again, it's amazing, because this, I don't think this was on anyone's agenda when we first put the inland port legislation together. Never mentioned, it was just something that has come along and sprouted because of the diligence and the good ideas of people here, and finding out that we've got this tremendous capacity and we're not using it. So thank you very much. This is a great one. This will be a big piece of what we do in the future.
Agreed.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on to the next item, which would be our trigger resolutions, and that will be Stephanie.
Thank
Okay.
you, Chair. That is a tough presentation to follow up on. It's an exciting one. We are really excited to be presenting our first trigger resolution for the Golden Spike project area. It will be in conjunction with the completion of Lakeshore Learning's 1.2 million square foot distribution center that they are building in Garland, Utah. So the trigger resolution encompasses about 58 acres, and it really is the kickoff of $22 million of capital investment coming into Garland, Utah, and Tremont City. And so we are really thrilled with the development of this project. It came up in a tremendous timeline. And we are really excited to be sharing this trigger resolution with the ribbon cutting of the facility. I believe they're going to be moving in within the next 60 days. And so we're really excited about this project. And so are there any questions regarding this trigger resolution for the Golden Spike project area?
None. Any board members have questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jenna, I believe you're next.
Almost got it. You're almost there.
I mean, you're welcome, what?
Jenna, you are you're an Associate Vice President of Regional Project Area Development.
I am, and I cover the southeast part of the state. So I cover Burt, South, and then Historic Capital East. So I'll be here right now we're presenting for Catholic Country, which is Emory and Carbon County. Utah Inland Port Authority's stated objectives are to foster generational regional economic growth, and also to collaborate with the communities and support the type of growth that those communities would like to see. Emory County passed a resolution on April 15th requesting UIPA to trigger these parcels. They are in full support and are very excited to be getting this differential to be reinvested back into their community. This development is part of a long-term economic development strategy for Emory County, creating jobs and supporting infrastructure and business development in Emory County. So this particular project is the Phosphate Rock Mine. Emory County is planning on reinvesting this tax differential back into the community. Opening this mine will create 1,105 new jobs in Emory County, and all of those jobs pay higher than the county average wage at least 110%. Most of them are above 120% of the average county wage in Emory County.
Just 1100.
Yeah, just 1,100. The population out there is roughly a little more than that, barely. So it's very big news for Emory County. They say that a lot of the jobs that are created in these rural areas is comparable to hundreds of jobs created on the Wasatch Front. And I don't know that there's really a direct comparison there, but this is a much bigger deal for Emory County than creating 1,100 jobs in Salt Lake. Emory County is going to be reinvesting this differential into a lot of a lot of public benefit. I want to make it clear to the board and to all of our friends in the public that Fossil Rock Mine and Wolverine operations have not asked for any kind of incentive. They have not asked for any help in building their infrastructure. None of this differential that is going to be collected on behalf of Emory County will be given to Wolverine or any of the operations. It is going to be spent in the community. They're going to use these dollars for public amenities, for support for these new employees, for public infrastructure that's going to be allowing these extra jobs. They're going to be, that can look like housing, that can look like parks, that can look like roads, that can look like a lot of things, but no incentives and none of this differential is being used for anything that is part of the mine's responsibility to begin their operations. And, these numbers don't really tell the entire story. Opening this mine is going to be creating these jobs will introduce millions of first dollars into this community that can then be spent down the line. Those second dollars that are then spent at a grocery store, that are spent at Boris, that are then spent for a third time at an insurance agent or a local dealership or these kinds of things. These are the initial jobs that will bring that kind of investment into Emory County that they haven't seen for a very long time. Kids are going to have internships. We've been working with them to make sure that they're going to be hiring local people and that they will be giving these kids and their parents the opportunities to work at these mines and work at mine and have careers, but also these entrepreneurs. A lot of people in rural Utah are very scrappy entrepreneurs. They're going to see the opportunity for businesses that support mine operations or the other supporting businesses that are going to be needed for this mine to continue its operations. Grandparents are going to be able to have their grandkids stop by after school because their parents are going to be able to live here. And those kids are going to go fishing and ride their dirt bikes and stuff on the weekends. So it's a very, very big opportunity for Emory County. They're going to be able to flourish for generations instead of turning into a retirement community and then a ghost town. So staff recommends passing this resolution to trigger these parcels in Emory County. Any questions?
That's impressive. I'll bet Dave Hinkins is dancing and screaming.
He wanted to be here today so bad when I told him what we were doing, not only in San Juan County, but also that we were triggering this resolution. So
Tell him Senator Stevenson misses his flamboyant language.
I will. He knows my dad pretty well, so he answers the phone when I call him. Yeah, any questions I can answer? We're done.
Great job.
Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. Kind of makes you excited for the inland port. All right, let's go. Let's see, Danny Stewart. We're going to come back to you now for a presentation on an amendment to the Mineral Mountain area.
All right, back again. Thank you. Let me back up here. Make sure I'm sharing the right one. Are you seeing the Mineral Mountains screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, what we're looking at here is, pardon me, I'm having some technical issues on this side. Here we go. Happy to present this proposed amendment to the Mineral Mountains Inland Port project area. We actually did an amendment in December of last year that's kind of similar to this. I'll explain that as we move in a little farther into this discussion. But just to update you briefly on this project area, it's located in Beaver County. It has 3 zones in the Milford, Beaver, and Minersville areas. We've had a number of wins in this project area since it was established the end of 2023, namely the Unitech manufacturing facility. Construction on its 50,000 square foot building will be complete later this year. This is an HVAC manufacturing company that brings 50 new jobs to the community. Many of those are hired now and they're working outside of the county. They're looking forward to this building completion this year so that they can work in their community. Additionally, the Fervo Energy's Cape Station geothermal power generating plant is now under construction northwest of Milford. And last week, this company announced the project's capacity has increased from 400 megawatts to 500 megawatts, all of which is fully contracted when that's up and running beginning summer of 2026. And then finally, parcels in the smaller Minersville zone will trigger this year. And that zone includes a 27,000 square foot building that is converting animal waste into pellets that's used for fertilizer. So we've had a lot going on there. The item that I'm bringing today is an amendment number 2, which is to remove about 920 acres from the project area to support the creation of a local CRA for the Milford 2 solar project. We've been working very closely with Beaver County officials to determine the best way for them to support the development of this solar project. Previously, the county's redevelopment agency created a community reinvestment area, a CRA, to incentivize the development of the Milford Solar 1 project. And we looked at different options of working between the port and the county, but because this Milford Solar 2 jumps over the boundaries of county property inside and outside of the Inland Port project area. So to stay consistent with what the county has done to this point, they have determined that a locally created CRA best suits the needs of the development of this solar project. So they've requested that we amend our project area to facilitate this happening. We work very closely with our community partners in the optimization of our project areas. So in behalf of Beaver County, we're requesting this amendment to remove this acreage from the project area so that they can take care of the development of that solar project. Are there any questions from the board?
Jerry, I have a question.
I would take your question, Chairman.
Danny, I think I read you clear, but I want you to clarify some things for me. So we are not, as the port, we are not incentivizing a solar project here. We are just taking this section out of our port boundary so the county can do what they want on their incentives on their end. But we are not taking action on a solar incentive as the port.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So if you can see the map, you can see where the Milford Solar 1's already in place, just adjacent to and north of the project area. And you can see that red area that's been identified as the area to be removed. That's the 920 acres. That and some additional property that's already outside of our boundaries is going to be home to this solar project. And we will not be doing anything to incentivize this. We're just removing it from our project area so that the county redevelopment agency can take care of their own incentive program as a CRA.
Okay, very good. Thank
Yep.
you.
You're welcome.
Thought that's what you said, but I just appreciate the clarification.
Certainly.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Okay, any other questions? No questions. Let's move on then. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Let's move on to let's see, we have just one more, and we have one more item on the information, adopting the ancient Sky Project area plan. And that will be presented to us.
Now, Scott.
Jenna.
You took, yes, sir.
Read the wrong line there, were we? Scott, where did you come from?
I'm exercising a little discretion.
There we go. Thank you.
Chair Osborne, Acting Chair Stevenson, honorable board members, it is indeed a privilege once again to be a project area to you for your consideration. I wanted to just take just a moment. as we were challenged by this board and by Director Hart to go out and work with communities to create project areas, San Juan County was very quickly on our radar as a place that we wanted to try out to see what opportunities were here. We think it's a very strategic part of the state. And it took us a little bit as we focused on that I-15 corridor, and then we've expanded out to the southeast. It's been wonderful to bring Associate Vice President Draper on board, that we can pay more attention to this region of the state. She's logged more than 12,000 personal vehicle miles in a year.
We signed, yeah, we know.
And works hard to make sure the port interests are being represented into communities that can really utilize this tool. As she and Talia address you, I just wanted to take just a moment and recognize that as we've been able to pay more attention here, there's been alignment from some wonderful visionary elected officials and top-notch public administrators that enter this collaboration, and we cannot be more excited to engage with this community. So with that, I'll turn the time over to Jenna and her guests that she'll introduce to you. Thank you.
As Scott mentioned, we always knew there were amazing things out here, but it just took a little bit of a catalyst to bring everybody together.
I just want you to know I've got half that many miles between Davis County and the capital.
I believe it. Luckily, I get to see a lot more beautiful scenery than you do. Members of the board, we are excited to make the final presentation for Ancient Sky. I anticipate that probably in about a year, I hope, we can do a trigger presentation like we just had for Emory County, because they have a lot of stuff going on down here in Ancient Sky. You're gonna find the project area materials in your plan and budget material, plan and budget in your board materials for this project area. Represented region of economic significance in San Juan County, supporting and driving advancement and efficiencies in the logistical needs of the region. This project area adds a critical component for the Utah Inland Port Authority. I think when everybody thinks of rural Utah, you've got places like Skyline Corridor, you've got places like Castle Country, but the real rural areas is going to be touched by this Ancient Sky project area. We're going to be able to bring them into alignment and support them way, hopefully more than they've felt supported in the past, and be able to help them achieve their goals and really grow or really develop in the way that they would like to. As you may have noticed, last month we called it the San Juan County project area. This month we have chosen the name Ancient Sky, and that was something that we've kind of gone back and forth with, and the county has put a lot of thought and effort into what they wanted this project area to represent and what they wanted it to be called. So that's where we landed on that one. By statute, UIPA project areas must meet the following criteria. There is a need to effectuate a public purpose, public benefit to the development project, be economically sound, and promote the statutory goals and objectives of UIPA. Additionally, each participating environmental body must invite the Utah Inland Port Authority to create a project area. San Juan County passed their resolution back on November 21st, 2023, supporting the creation of the project area. It's taken until now to be able to put all of that together and really realize that vision that they had. Lighting City passed their resolution on February 25th, 2025. I'd like to recognize their mayor here. We appreciate you guys being here. Monticello City passed theirs on March 25th, 2025, and their mayor is also here. So we thank you guys for being here. Both of these resolutions were added to the draft plan and budget, so it may have changed since last month. I have Talia Hudson here with me. She is San Juan County's Economic Development Director. I'd like to turn the time over to her.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to have this coming here to our county. I was expressing earlier how excited I am for the opportunities that it brings that we have not had access to. I think that a lot of times as a county, we're the largest county, and people don't realize that span. But also, they don't realize how excited and how much we want to be able to live the dreams and have the things that we want in our lives for our families. I really absolutely love the approach of Inland Port that it's taking in the rural areas, that is allowing conversations to happen and is meeting the community needs. I think that's probably one of the the biggest strengths I see about this program is that it's allowing us to grow and to move forward in ways that make sense and are respectful of the values that our county holds and are looking for. And so thank you so much for the work and the effort and the time that you guys are putting into making this possible for us. It truly is going to change the quality of life for our county and the economic development impact. And want.
I said that San Juan County was so excited for this, that we offered to cover about half of our costs for being down for catering and different things. So no other county has offered to do that. That's really cool that they're so excited. And I don't know that we can convey that just in these few minutes that we have here about the opportunities and the things that they hope to see from this and the partnerships that we're going to create and to be able to we're going to be able to meet a lot of objectives that they're not sure they would be able to otherwise. And I'm very excited to support them in that. Industries of focus and recruitment for this project area. We've listed quite a few in the plan and budget. I just pulled out a few of them. Manufacturing, agriculture, technology, transportation, aerospace and defense, bioproduction, mineral extraction, green tech, and forestry. Like I said, there's a lot of others. We're not going to exclude anything unless it doesn't align with what they would like. But these are some that they'd really like to focus on. The Ancient Sky project area promotes the following goals and objectives to be considered a UIPA project area. ABC, DEF, GHI, JKL, MNO, QR, and S.
Almost all of them.
The only one we skipped was the intermodal that was designed specifically for Salt Lake City. So we're gonna hit all of them with this one. I'd like to thank again for our speakers. I appreciate Talia and I appreciate San Juan County and the mayors and the other people that are here supporting us and look forward to working with them. As you've heard from everyone, the Ancient Sky project area not only exceedingly satisfies the objectives of the Utah Inland Port Authority laid out in statute, but also aligns perfectly with the local and regional goals of San Juan County and its municipalities. The UIP staff recommends passing a resolution to create the Ancient Sky project area. Any questions?
Can you bring the map up again for me?
I don't think we have a map.
Okay, I was like, I didn't think I missed it, but where where can I find that, Ben? Where is it in my?
Yes, it is in the project area plan and budget. We can send it to you.
No,
I've
no,
got-
they have beautiful scenery down that way.
I know. I just want to.
And we'll give you a tour.
All of the parcels that are included with this creation are in San Juan County. We're still working with both planning and Monticello to identify which parcels in their municipalities that they would like included. So the only parcels that we are including today are within San Juan County's borders.
And what is the acreage?
It's a lot. So we actually, well,
I can't remember 12,000.
I think it was 12,000.
It's quite a bit.
Again, because of how big our county is, it's gonna be big no matter what. But it's also really focused on each area and what those area projects need, for infrastructure.
For you city guys, it's like 16 or 17 square miles.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
15,000. Very good. And we have gone through, Talia's been very strategic in choosing which areas. We do have specific goals for each of the parcels.
Okay, anything else?
I want to add one thing. I want to thank you guys for Jenna. She's incredible. She has taught me so much, taken my calls at all hours. I apologize. And really been very amazing at educating me too. That's something that's so important so that I'm making sure that I'm communicating well. So she's absolutely fabulous. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Ever.
I've been involved in the inland port process since the beginning. And what's really made this happen is the incredible people that we have brought on that have promoted the process that we put together. Not only that, but I think this is moving forward at a much more graduated speed than we thought it would. I think we got off to a really slow start in 2017, but has moved forward very quickly, and what we've done, it seems like we've gained a lot of momentum, but it's because of the incredible people we have working for us and the incredible communities we get to work with that have a vision for their community. So, just kudos to everyone. It's really amazing being involved with projects like this as a legislator.
In past lives, I was always a one-man show as the county economic development and regional economic development, but it's been amazing to have a team that I can reach out to and ask questions
I
and
think
for
team's
support.
the key word there.
Yeah, we get a lot more done together.
Can we go through, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make us go through like slide by slide. So I'm on slide 27 right now. Looks like there's some, I don't know, water
Let me see. I
different
think it's the potash.
topography there next to the river.
Yeah, those are the potash mines, Abby.
Those are the, okay, so this is, so we're including right here, we're including some existing energy fuels area, I'm assuming.
And they are doing an expansion. They're planning an expansion.
Yeah, they want to grow. They're doing there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to, I just want to know what's in each one of these currently. 28. What's in those zones right now?
Old Airport Road. LaSalle Loop. One county that looks like Spanish Valley.
This is my Spanish Valley area. And the project area in this is looking at bringing in the water infrastructure that we need there. So we've done a lot of the studies, and also looking at, the possibility for housing for that area. So that's why that area's been included, and we have been held up by funding, especially for looking at, the water and infrastructure.
Okay. Let's go down to 29.
So this is, inclusive of Lisbon Mind. Is that right? Yeah. You're putting me to the test of math. That's like shapes. That's actually half of what I've been learning is like seeing my shapes. But yeah, so this is included of Lisbon Mind. So that's actually something that was recently in the paper that they're expanding also. But one of the issues that I have with the expansions is that, are we able to have the infrastructure to support them? So this is included also parcels that could possibly provide single family homes, workforce development homes, those kind of structures too, so that we're growing together as we do that, and perhaps using those incentives in those areas. So that's something that I'm strategically looking at.
Jenna, what's that little tiny piece under Markle Road up above on the top of this map?
That's also part of Lisbon Mind, I think.
Oh, right there.
Why?
Sorry. I'm not sure. Either this one or, oh, this one.
That tiny.
That right there.
Oh. That's an important piece. So that is a place that the county, property that the county owns that has, it's very small, but it has a potential for us to develop into, some housing, affordable housing in the LaSalle area. And it has really honestly been, I think it was an encampment at one time, like it's really just a space that, is not useful in the community. The community would love to see something that could actually be used there for family homes. And we also have an issue with housing in LaSalle. So that's what that little teeny portion is. It's a very small thing. And it was originally, obtained, tax sale. Thank you. So that's how we have that little teeny portion.
Okay, what about 30? Obviously, this is a mine, but
That one is, so this is our, I think that's enough. So, Energy Fuels is, located here and it's, looking at also the possibility of expansion. So that is something that is included in the area. But in addition to that, it would provide, what we're looking at is hopefully providing an infrastructure that would allow us to increase the pipeline for homes to be able to, not only help the mill, but actually help develop those who are interested in home development. We haven't been able to get access to these resources.
Natural gas
Natural.
specifically. Everybody out there has heating oil.
Okay, let's go to the Monticello one.
Okay, so in the Monticello, the square long corner is our airport. So this is actually something else that a lot of our businesses, and we have manufacturing here, small manufacturing. We also have an agricultural industry that wants to grow. But we have a difficult time figuring out how to transport it out. So we're looking at maybe a cargo, like what can we do for cargo? We also do have a lot of CDL, a lot of trucks, semi-trucks and things going, but they're kind of inside of our communities, and that's something that's an issue. So we're also trying to see how we can support what's already there and maybe have a location for that. The other area too is for the possibility of improving what we can do maybe in manufacturing, distribution, anything that can help me with housing. So that's one of the things that are really important as we're looking at industries that we bring in. Is it something that we need here locally that's difficult and that we're paying exorbitant prices to transport in? Or is it something that we can produce and grow locally? So like sawmills and things like that.
And that would be, that's both sections of these two areas on 31. Sorry, you're cutting in and out on my voice side, so I'm just trying to pick up on a little bit of what you're saying.
Okay, and so Blanding, this is actually Blanding's airport area. So a lot of people don't realize how many airports we actually have out here. And one of the unique things out here is they're looking at maybe expanding that airport or its services. And we're not sure what that would look like. Those are still in conversations. But it is kind of unique space because we already have like an aircraft mechanic that serves the Four Corners region. So like Colorado, Arizona are flying their airplanes here to help repairs. So that's a possibility that we can do. The other possibility is looking at maybe USU and drones and becoming somewhere that we can use that and perhaps in range management and those things. So those are all in discussion. There's a lot of really unique ideas. And I'm excited to see what ones work.
I've already taken calls from people that are interested in delivering essential supplies out to these more rural areas that only have a dirt path to get to them, and using drone technology to get medicines and other critically needed supplies out there without having to bounce along the road for 6 hours.
Yep.
Okay, the airport's the top right. What's the bottom part of this map?
The bottom part is also land that it could possibly use for expansion, and that we're not quite sure what that could look like, but it is county area land that we can include in the project to see, and that could be housing, it could be distribution, it could be a lot of different options, but that's what those are.
Okay, 30, the White Mesa one.
I think that is the last one.
That is the last one.
And Madam Chair, just quickly, these were from our website, so these have been available on our website for the last 10 days.
Okay,
You know,
okay, thanks for going through it all.
I believe you're very forward thinking in what you're doing. I mean, you've reached outside the box, and which is what it takes to make this work. So, well done.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, Abby, Madam Chair, some of your questions as well. Our philosophy in some of the rural counties, and I think it's been from direction from the board, is we want to cast a wide net. And Talia, we really appreciate what you're doing down here, bringing everyone together. Where there are opportunities, we want to be able to strike and get quickly and react where there might be significant investments, things that could really help the community. And so we do cast a pretty big swath as what we're looking through. And San Juan is also the biggest county in the state. There's no question about that. This won't be our biggest project area by size, but it's impactful for the local community, and that's what we wanted to get to. And so we will not be triggering all of these at once. Just we'll be working with Talia and others as we have development that comes online and opportunities. We'll trigger at the right time. But I'm in each of these areas, I can see a future and opportunity where economically you're providing jobs and, you know,
Yeah.
impact for the community. And so,
Exactly. And I actually really appreciate the approach that you have given me the ability to have a wide net and say what's the best and what will work. So that we can grow that. And especially so we can diversify. I think that's one of the key things that we need to do for our areas, diversify.
You know, we can adopt and move on a project area very quickly. Well, that's the way that this process works, but as you could, I think, well, we can also disconnect very quickly if you find an area that probably needs different utilization.
Okay.
So that's, keep that in mind as we go through the process.
Okay. And I'm excited to work with our cities. They have their own plans and their own goals, and we really want to make sure that we're doing that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? If not, let's move on to the public comment portion of the meeting. Do we have those in the audience? Again, no comment. Do we have anything online?
Them a second to see if anyone
Any
is
hands
going to
raised?
raise a hand.
I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand online, Mr. Chair.
No one online?
No hands raised.
I would, probably should confess this publicly. This is the meeting I've been waiting for since 2017. I'll probably receive from you some ridicule for that. And that's okay too.
We love everybody, no matter what they have to say. We love everybody.
All right. Well, no public comment. That will catch us up or move us closer to being caught up. Let's move on to the approval of our public policy update. We looked at, we looked at our public policies and we have, VP 12, I believe is the only one. Is that right?
Unless the others will be next time.
And the others will all be next time. So I'm looking for a motion for the approval of our board policy.
Madam Chair, Mr. Chair,
Segregation duties, I guess.
would it help for me? I found that, in our last meeting, when I read off a potential motion, it helped to guide things a little bit.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. All right, then motion, let me just make sure. Okay. A motion for the approval of policy update BP 12, segregation of duties.
I would be happy to make that motion. Yeah.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yep.
I have a second. For the approval of, let's see, that is BP 12. So all in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Do I have any opposed? I would rule that passes. Let's move on to, the approval of the resolution 23, which authorizes public treasurer's investment.
All right, the motion is for the approval of the Burke Industrial Regional Public Infrastructure District. We're on 23. Sorry, I'm looking back one. Oh, there we go. The motion would be a resolution 2025-23, a resolution of the Utah Inland Port Authority Board authorizing the public treasurer's investment fund PTIP authorized users.
So moved.
Do I have a motion from Jonathan? Do I have a second?
Yes.
Second from Abby. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Then I would rule that passes. Let's move on to the approval of 25-24.
The motion is for the approval of Burke Industrial Regional Public Infrastructure District Interlocal Tax Sharing Agreement, resolution number 2025-24.
I move to approve this resolution 2025-24.
And Jonathan makes a motion to approve. Do I have
Happy
a
to
second?
second. Yep.
And I have a second. And that is, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's move on to, let's see. Adopt resolution 25-25, the inland port office lease.
All right, the motion is for the adoption and approval of resolution for the amended Utah Inland Port Authority office lease, resolution number 2025-25.
I move to adopt resolution 2025-25.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yep.
A second. All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Whether, let's move on to, that passes. Let's move on to resolution 25-26.
All right, the motion is for the approval of a resolution of the Utah Inland Port Authority Board authorizing the execution of a sublease agreement for the property located at 5 South and 5100 West in Salt Lake.
I move to authorize the execution of this sublease agreement.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yep.
I have a second. All in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We'll move on to the adoption of the Delta Cargo Building relocation, resolution 25-27.
Motion is to approve a resolution of the Utah Inland Port Authority Board authorizing the execution of a loan for Delta Cargo Building relocation, resolution 2025-27.
I move to adopt resolution 2025-27.
I have a motion to adopt.
Second.
And a second. All in favor of the motion to adopt the Delta Cargo Building relocation, say aye.
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 And that is unanimous. We move to adopt the resolution 25-28, the trigger resolution in Golden Spike project area.
The motion is to trigger resolution for Golden Spike project area, resolution number 2025-28.
So moved.
And we have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor of the motion to adopt, say aye.
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 And that is unanimous vote. Well, we'll now move on to 25-29.
Motion is for a to approve the trigger resolution for Castle Country project area, resolution number 2025-29.
I move to approve this trigger resolution.
I have a motion to approve. I need a second.
Yes.
And I do have a second. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
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 Aye. And that resolution passes. And, adopt resolution 25-30.
The motion is to adopt a resolution of the Utah Inland Port Authority Board adopting the Ancient Sky Inland Port Project Area Plan, resolution 2025-30.
I move to adopt this plan 2025-30.
And I have a motion to adopt 2025-30. Do I have a second?
Can I speak to that motion, Jerry? Janet, I think just as my questions, we were going through those maps, I think I just, in Ben's comment on, obviously these won't be triggered till we have some more definite plans. It's so big. And I understand the county is the biggest county and it's so spread out through the county. And I am fully supportive of the areas that are in and around the critical mining and the critical infrastructure. I just want to make sure the board is fully aware before we trigger anything, what is actually going in these locations. So just a lot of transparency when we approve incentives in all these disparate locations throughout the county. So I'm fine with the second. I just really want a lot of information on this one.
Very much appreciated comments. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do you mind if I speak to that for one second? Madam Chair, so you will have our commitment. Before we, there's really two steps and both of them will have to be done in public meetings before we can start to actually have money flow towards any project here. The first step is the trigger resolution, and I do want to give our staff a compliment. I think they did a great job giving information on the trigger resolution, what we were actually triggering those projects for. So you have our commitment, we will do that. The other thing is any project where tax differential would flow to, whether that's an incentive, a public infrastructure district, potential loans, or any other flowing of that, tax differential, that also has to come back through this board for approval. So Madam Chair, you're just making me think, and so if I'm being a little overcautious, you can correct me, but I definitely want to give the public assurance. Today's vote is not to turn on tax differential or to give it to a specific project. All of those things will come forward in that two-step process where, and both of them will have to be adopted by the board before that stop will start to happen. So Madam Chair, you're 100% correct. We are not triggering anything. There'll be no tax differential flowing. This just gives us the ability to set a base year and to start to work with people to develop out these projects and hopefully create some great economic opportunities for the county. And all of those opportunities will be brought back to the board.
Thanks, Ben, and appreciate it, Jerry, for letting me speak.
Thank you very much. Well, your wisdom is always appreciated. She should be conducting this meeting, not me.
Oh, no, you're the guy in the
She
room.
does an amazing job, so. Okay, well, that brings us, let's see, we got a second, so we need a vote on that. All in favor of adopting resolution 2025-30, the ancient sky project plan, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that is unanimous. Now, we could ask for a comment very quickly if anyone has one. Otherwise, there is one more motion I will be looking for.
Motion to adjourn, Jerry.
Motion to adjourn.
We do have one statement real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Let me read this. As we adjourn this meeting, we invite you to remain with us. In 5 minutes, a panel of local leaders will convene here to discuss the impact of the Ancient Sky Project area creation. The panel and the Utah Inland Port Authority staff will explore economic opportunities that are unlocked within the Inland Port project area. Now I would take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank all of you, staff especially. Oh, we've got refreshments at the back.
Local catering.
And local catering, I actually shortstop some of those coming in. Let me tell you what, they're amazing. So if you don't go back and have refreshments, you're making a big mistake.
Yes.